Welcome you all to Alpha and Omega Mathematics by Vijay Jackson. Let us see the topic Lagrange's theorem. Lagrange's theorem of a group. So before proving Lagrange's theorem, let us do a theorem based on coset. So the first theorem statement says if A belongs to H star B, then H star A equal to H star B. So given A belongs to H star B, we are proving that H star A equal to H star B. So how we are going to take a proof? See here. So assume that our assumption is A belongs to H star B. So to prove now, H star A equal to H star B. So take the assumption, we are considering the assumption, we are proving that H star A equal to H star B. So here A belongs to H star B, it is our assumption. So both sides we are multiplying by B inverse. So multiplying B inverse on both sides, what we get? A star B inverse. This is belongs to H star B inverse. So both side we have multiplied B inverse. So now in the right side B star B inverse we can put it by E. So this implies A star B inverse belongs to H star E, since H is a subgroup of G. So therefore B star B inverse is equal to, we can put it, this is equal to E. E is the identity element. Now multiplying identity element with group, we'll get the same H. So this becomes A star B inverse belongs to capital H. So after that we are applying one property. The property says A belongs to H implies H star A equal to H. So A belongs to H implies H star A equal to H. So by applying this property, so this is equal to, this is belongs to capital H. Therefore H star A star B inverse is equal to H. So you are writing like that. So here, so H star A star B inverse is equal to H. So again, so this is equal to, this implies H star A star B inverse star B is equal to H star B. Both sides we have multiplied by B. So this becomes H star A equal to H star B. So how? B inverse star B is equal to E. B inverse star B is equal to E. So this way we are proving that particular proof. So if A belongs to H star B, then H star A equal to H star B. So again assume that, okay, so A belongs to H star B. So prove that H star A equal to H star B. So just taking A belongs to H star B. So both sides multiply it B inverse. So after taking multiplication, we are getting the answer is A star B inverse belongs to capital H. Then we know that the property says A belongs to H implies H star A equal to H. You can write it like that. So by using the property, we are proving now H star A equal to H star B. So now the next theorem says, any two right cosets are left cosets of capital H in capital G are either disjoint or identical. So this is the statement of the theorem. So any two right cosets, suppose we know now how to find right cosets and left cosets. So any two right cosets or left cosets of H in G are either one is equal, otherwise it is disjoint, different set elements. So how we are going to take a proof, see here. So just to take it two right cosets now. So let H star A and H star B be two right cosets of capital H in G. So we have considered two right cosets. We are going to prove these two right cosets. One way is equal, otherwise it is different sets. So suppose it is equal means no need to prove. So suppose we are taking that. So it is actually disjoint. Okay, we are proving that it is a disjoint or identical. So just we are taking that. Suppose H star A intersection H star B is not empty. Okay, so actually we are going to prove it is disjoint means H star A intersection H star B answer is equal to empty. H star A intersection H star B equal to empty. But we are considering now, we are proving in a contradictory way. So therefore, H star A intersection H star B is not empty. Intersection between these two right cosets is not empty means. So here we have some elements from H star A intersection H star B. So see here, that element, I am taking the element is just X. X belongs to H star A intersection H star B. X belongs to H star A intersection H star B by using the basic of intersection. So we can write it X belongs to H star A and X belongs to H star B. So X belongs to both H star A and H star B. So after that, so here write it. So X belongs to H star A by using the previous theorem. So we can write it H star A equal to H star X and H star X is equal to H star B. Okay. So by using the previous theorem, the theorem is if A belongs to H star B, then H star A equal to H star B. So by using this, so you can write it H star A equal to H star X. Okay. So here, so X belongs to H star A and X belongs to H star B. We have written here H star A equal to H star X and H star X is equal to H star B. So by combining this, we can write it. This becomes H star A equal to H star B. H star, both are equal. So you can write it H star A equal to H star B. So therefore, combining that, so one way H star A equal to H star B, otherwise H star A intersection H star B equal to empty. So we have proved by using the previous theorem. So here any two right cosets or left cosets are coming. So you can say that either disjoint or identical. So now write the Lagrange's theorem. Lagrange's theorem statement says, let G be a finite group. Let G be a finite group of order n and H be a subgroup, H be a subgroup of capital G, H be a subgroup of capital G of order M, then order of H divides order of G. So this is the statement of the theorem. Let G be a finite group. We are saying that number of elements in the group capital G is n. Again, H is a subgroup we have taken. So here the number of elements in H is M. So we are proving that order of H divides order of G. So that is M divides N. Okay. So how we are going to take a proof? See here. So given order of G is equal to N and we have taken order of H is equal to M. Okay, order of H is equal to M. H is a subgroup of G means we can find the right cosets and left cosets of H in G is. So you can calculate it, the right cosets and left cosets of H. Okay. So these right cosets, just consider it as a right cosets. Okay. So here I'm taking capital H, let H1, H2, etc. HM be the different elements, different elements of H in G. So H having elements are H1, H2, etc. elements, HM. Okay. So see here, the right cosets, we are taking the right cosets now. The right cosets of H in G is defined by capital HA. Okay, right coset. So this is equal to H1A, comma H2A, etc. HMA. So here A belongs to capital G. So suppose one element from capital G. So here we can find the right coset. These elements are HA is a right coset. It contains the elements H1A, H2A, etc. HMA. Okay. So now since there is a one-to-one correspondence between the elements of H and HA, subgroup and right coset, there is a one-to-one correspondence between. Okay. So therefore the elements of HA are distinct. So HA, the right cosets, see here, the right coset which we have calculated now. So the elements are actually different elements, not same elements. So we are writing only the different elements. That is only we have written in the statement. So now, so each right cosets of H in G, so we know that. So by using the previous theorem, so any two right cosets, either disjoint or identical. Either disjoint or identical. That is we know. So therefore, each right cosets, we can calculate many right cosets of H in G. Okay? So but each right cosets of H in G having M elements. Because H is having M elements, so right coset is also having M number of elements. So after that, so you can take it the number of distinct right cosets of H in G is finite. We can say that this is K. Some notation we take it, it is K. So therefore, the union of these K distinct cosets distinct cosets of capital H in capital G is equal to capital G. So therefore G is equal to HA1 union HA2 etc. union HAK. So order of G is equal to order of HA1 plus order of HA2 plus etc. plus order of HAK. So order of G is N. Order of HA1 is M plus etc. plus M K times. So this is equal to K times M, N equal to K times M. So therefore, so you can write it from this M divides N. So then we can take the conclusion order of H divides order of G. Order of G. Order of H divides order of G. So this way we are proving the Lagrange's theorem. So actually, for example, we know that we have proved the set G is equal to 1 comma G is equal to 1 comma minus 1 comma I comma minus I. This is a set. Actually, till this Lagrange's theorem is over. So suppose H is equal to 1 comma minus 1. Here the right cosets are. So you have got the right cosets are 1 into H is equal to H into 1 is equal to minus H into minus 1. Again, H into I is equal to H into minus I. So these are the right cosets we have got. Okay. So actually, we can explain. Okay, I can explain with an example. So G is a group, H is a subgroup. Okay, and we have taken the right cosets. So G, order of G, number of elements are 4. Order of G, number of elements are 4. Order of H, number of elements are 2. So in this H, so you have there are 2 right cosets. Okay. So combining 2 right cosets, see here, combining 2 right cosets, H dot 1, the elements are actually 1 comma minus 1. So here the elements are I comma minus I actually. So combining all the right cosets, okay. So see here, G is equal to G equal to H dot 1, okay, union H dot I, or you can take it any two. So therefore from this, order of G is equal to order of H1 union order of H dot I. Second, so here we can get the same, here order of H1 it is 2 plus 2. Here order of G is 4. So 4 divides 4 like that. Okay. So here it is actually 2 times 2. 2 times we are getting 2. So therefore order of H divides order of G. So this way we are proving the Lagrange's theorem. So the converse part of the Lagrange's theorem. So suppose order of H divides order of G, then we can conclude that H is a subgroup of G. Okay, H is a subgroup of G. So the statement of the Lagrange's theorem says, let G be a finite group of order n and H be a subgroup of G order m. Then order of H divides order of G. This way we have proved. If part we have proved, if and only if part comes, it fails. The converse part of the Lagrange's theorem is actually false. Actually, it is not true. So this way we are proving the Lagrange's theorem of a group. So before proving Lagrange's theorem, we have proved 2 theorems. Based on the theorem only, we are writing the answer of Lagrange's theorem. We are inserting the previous 2 theorems.